So what really makes a narcissist tick? Today, we're going to try and build a kind of behavioral blueprint, mapping out the core mechanics and the internal rules that drive this incredibly complex personality. And look, just to be clear, this isn't about making a clinical diagnosis. It's a framework for recognizing a specific pattern, all drawn from one source's really detailed analysis. So let's start building.
Our source material really doesn't pull any punches, starting with this quote right here. It describes a way of communicating where truth isn't just bent, we're talking about a completely different language. And honestly, this idea is the key to unlocking the entire blueprint.
So where does it all start? Well, it really boils down to this one core idea, the false self. You can think of it like the main operating system on a computer. Pretty much every other behavior we're going to talk about, it's just a program running on top of that one foundation.
Now, this isn't just about, being a little fake sometimes. We're talking about an entire artificial persona, a massive construct built to protect something incredibly fragile on the inside. And here's the kicker, the part you really got to get. These personality traits, they're not grown organically. They are copied, literally just copied from other people. This right here reveals their single most important motivation. If that false self is a fortress, their entire life is dedicated to one thing: defending its walls. It is a constant 24/7 mission to make sure no one ever sees the fragility that's hidden inside.
Okay, so how do they actually build and maintain this whole facade? It's basically a two-step process. First, the personality itself is just patched together by copying other people. But that's not enough, right? Then comes the marketing, a non-stop, relentless campaign to sell this fabricated identity to absolutely everyone.
All right, this next piece of the blueprint, wow, it's really something else. It pulls back the curtain on a completely different relationship with time. I mean, we're diving into a psychology that is just fundamentally disconnected from the past and the future as you and I know them.
The source material calls them creatures lost in time. And you know what? That's not just some poetic phrase. It's meant to be taken literally. They operate almost entirely in the present moment, completely untethered from what happened before or what might happen next.
And the consequences of that? Oh, they are huge. Think about it. All the things that happened in the past, your kindness, their own promises, it's like they never happened. They just don't exist in their active memory. Poof, gone. And since there's no real connection to the future, what's the point of long-term planning? It's meaningless. I mean, seriously, if the past is just gone, how can you ever be held accountable for a lie you told yesterday? You can't. Everything, and I mean everything, is about the here and now.
So, if you're living only in the moment, and your whole purpose is to defend this fake self, what happens to your sense of right and wrong? Well, it stops being a moral code and just becomes another tool, a set of flexible, bendy rules that only exist to serve that one single goal.
I love how the source material puts this. It says morality isn't some fixed compass for them. It's like a piece of elastic. They'll stretch it out as far as it can go to justify their own actions, but then they'll snap it tight to choke and condemn everyone else. It's the ultimate double standard.
This comparison here really gets to the heart of their morality. What do they actually fear? It's not about doing something that's intrinsically wrong. No. The fear is of visible people, of being exposed, of being caught. It's never about, I broke a rule. It's always about, someone with power saw me break the rule.
And all of this leads to a moral code that's basically upside down. Getting away with theft? That's not a failing. That's a sign of being clever and strong. A sin that nobody finds out about, well, then it's not a sin, is it? Even if you're exposed by someone who has no power over you, still not a sin. And all the while, underneath the surface, their desires are just running completely wild and unchecked. Okay, so this brings us to their number one external strategy, the thing that people on the outside run into first, their whole approach to communication. If morality is just a tool, then language and truth, well, they're just the raw materials you use to build whatever reality you need in that moment. And here is a really, really important distinction to make. Lying isn't just something they do to get out of trouble. It's their default setting. It's their fundamental way of communicating. It's a habit so deep that they'll do it even when telling the truth would be way easier. You see, deception isn't always some big, dramatic lie. It actually comes in a few different flavors. You've got the total fabrication, just making stuff up. Then there's the more subtle kind, omitting key details, telling a half-truth. And finally, there's just staying silent when you should speak up. But here's the thing. All three, the outright lie, the omission, and the silence, they all do the exact same job: control the narrative. Okay, so let's zoom out and pull all these pieces together.
We've talked about the fragile core, this mind that's lost in time, the super flexible moral code, and this whole architecture of lies. Now, let's see how it all clicks together to form one coherent system.
Look, at the end of the day, this whole blueprint isn't about slapping a label on someone. It's about recognizing a pattern. Every single one of these behaviors, the copied personality, the warped morals, living only in the now, the constant lying, they're all logical. They all make perfect sense if you understand the one single starting point, the desperate, non-stop defense of a fragile, false self. It all comes from the same instruction manual.
And that leaves us with one last really challenging question. A question that kind of gets to the very core of this whole thing. If the entire personality is a construct, if it's just copied and built and marketed to the world, what, if anything, is actually there? What's left underneath it all? It's a thought that really makes you question our basic ideas of what makes a person a person.